that I want to really talk about is a piece that some organizations adopt and some don't, and it's really a mobile strategy. The ability to access all of my Dynamics 365 information when I'm on the road. So as a sales rep, I'm walking in to visit with my customer, and I want to be able to see what's going on with that customer. What was the last thing that was communicated to them? Do we have any questions or issues that may arisen? Do I have items in my pipeline that I need to address? And then we're also going to touch on a view that we have that's available called Relationship Assistance, where action cards are presented to me as an end user on my mobile phone. They give me access to important information while I'm on the road that I can interact with. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my emulator, and we're actually going to be looking at my iPhone directly. I'm actually going through a couple of different applications to get here. So if you see a little bit of lag, it is nothing to do with the application. It's actually very responsive. It is completely to do with the fact that we're jumping through a few different applications to get there. So first and foremost, I open up the application on my iPhone, and I'm starting off with the same dashboard view that I would see when I'm logged into my regular Dynamics 365 environment. So dashboards are presented. I can go in and look at all of the leads that are currently assigned to me. I can drill into any one of those quadrants to really understand what leads make up that area. We've got this concept that shows me, hey, Joel, you need to understand that you've got this deal that you said was going to close last week and it's not. You need to go ahead and address that. And there's additional action cards that can be presented to the end user as well, like a meeting is coming up. Here's where the meeting is located. Here are the people that you're meeting with. So this becomes that sales assistant, really. I call it Siri for sales, where all that information is served up on tiles that allow me to really stay hyper-focused on things that are important to my organization, like contacting people, pipeline deals that are out there, appointments that I have coming up, things that I've scheduled that are important, all show up in this relationship action tile that I can interact with it and start moving forward right away. In addition to that, if I just go down to the bottom and click on the three lines that look like a hamburger, that gives me my regular menu. And in here, I can go ahead and interact with all the same things that I would have the ability to interact with in my standard Dynamics environment. So the first thing I want to do is just kind of go to my Adventureworks account. So I click on the account, and I have a couple of options. I can click on accounts again to be presented with a list of all of my accounts, or if I pinned account as a favorite, it's going to show up here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Adventureworks, and now we're brought to the actual main Adventureworks screen. So if we're playing this situation out, I'm a sales rep. I'm about to walk into my Adventureworks account to talk to them about an important opportunity that we're trying to close, and I want to see what's going on with this account. So obviously I've got address information I can use, where they sit on the map, any relevant to this account relationship information would show up here that I could deal with from my assistant. All of the contacts that belong to this particular organization are here, as well as opportunities and cases. So this is important. With using customer engagement, if my customer called in and has an issue, a support issue that's being tracked, and they may mention that when I'm in the process of talking to them, I'm going to be able to kind of see that information here, which is very, very important. Now, some of the things that we've done to extend the application is if I go next to summary and click on more information, I'm presented with an additional menu items up here. So if I click on sales history, this is something that we've done very specific for some of our customers that are looking to integrate with their ERP system. They want to be able to see, hey, what are some quotes that are out there that sales might be working on, or what are some orders that we're currently processing with some statuses, or are there any outstanding invoices that we need to be made aware of? So this area becomes a really tight-knit connection between your sales environment and your service environment, as well as your financial environment, so we can display a lot of that information. Now, each one of these categories, we can fully drill into those to see the details that are on that invoice or the details that are on that order. We can also go to the timeline section, and the timeline section really replaces that generic activity section or the social window that Microsoft had in some previous versions. So here I can see, what are the most recent, activities that have gone on with this customer. You can see there's some phone calls that we've made, some phone calls that may have come in from the customer, some tasks that may have been scheduled. So you've got a lot of information that's presented here. We also have the ability to filter that. So if I click on the more information within the timeline window, I can open up a filter pane. And the filter pane is going to allow me to, kind of access this information in a bunch of different ways. So for example, I just really want to see all of the appointments that have been scheduled this customer recently. And this is I'm doing from the road and on my phone. So I just go ahead and click on that, and it's going to quickly refresh the timeline, but it's only now going to show me the appointment information that's been created for this particular customer, which was a meeting yesterday that I attended to talk about some pipeline management information. So the ability to kind of streamline the timeline and get access to that information is there from your phone as well. I've hit the plus. I can go ahead and add in a new appointment or a new phone call that we want to go ahead and create, or potentially a new task. And it creates a quick, kind of pop-up window. So if I wanted to book a new appointment for this particular customer, I simply click it, and it brings me up with a very basic window, but it starts to pre-populate a lot of the information that's there. So all I have to do is actually go ahead and start typing in the information. Or if I want to go ahead and use my voice, I can use the voice integration with my standard phone on the texting tab on the texting keyboard to do that. Meeting to review pipeline. It's going to go ahead and fill that in for me and add that in as the subject. I can do the same thing with a location. I can go ahead and adjust the timeline, the hours that we're going to meet if I wanted to, or any additional information. But once I save and close this, it's going to go ahead and instantly create that record, not only on my phone, but it's also going to create it inside the Dynamics 365 environment. And obviously, it's going to connect to my Outlook environment and show as an appointment for me there as well. Now, some of the other cool things that's been added is there's the ability for you to go ahead, if you look under timeline, it says enter note, and there's different note options. I can add in an attachment, which is the paperclip. I can do a voice recording. I can do a camera recording, or I can actually take a picture. So if you're doing anything where your sales reps are out in the field and they need to review how things are displayed or how things are presented in store, or they want to, take a quick snapshot of inventory or manage anything that they're seeing on the road for a customer, they can do that all from within the Dynamics 365 application with these 3 integrated features. So very easy to use, very easy to send along as well. The other thing I wanted to just quickly show from the phone, which I thought is extremely powerful, is this concept of documents. So if I click on documents, again, sales rep from the road, I want to be able to see what documents exist for this particular customer. Now I'm looking at a SharePoint view of all of the documentation that's related to this particular customer account record from my phone. So I'm not swiveling to another application or opening up another tool on my phone. I'm at the account level looking at the specific information that's relevant to this customer right here from my phone. And then obviously I can open up any one of these on my phone and see that agreement. Or if I wanted to look at that pricing example, I could see that pricing example there. So very, very powerful tools that are made available. One of the other things I just quickly wanted to highlight is Relationship Assistant, that personal sales assistant that I mentioned earlier, has its own home within the application. So if I click on the additional information in the bottom and click on Relationship Assistant, I'm now presented with just those tiles that are relevant to this particular sales rep. So for example, I've got a sales meeting coming up in the next 18 minutes that I need to go ahead and track. I have that appointment that I created. Obviously, it's going to show up now, but it's that review pipeline. I've got a quote meeting later today at 3 p.m. I've got an opportunity that was set to close recently. So these become things that need to be top of mind, things that need to be constantly put in front of sales in order for them to be effective. So I think this information shows, just the quick power of, the intelligence that's wrapped into the application, showing a rep that here's the things that they really need to focus on in order to kind of move their day along. Outside of all the other scheduled activities, these are the things that are brought to their attention based off of information that may be relevant to them in this particular pursuit. So, in summary, I think the mobile application has come an extremely long way. It's extremely fast, it's extremely powerful, and it matches the conceptual user interface that you're going to see in the browser application with the Sales Hub. So whether you're on an iPhone, an Android device, whether you're on any other kind of mobile application that exists, or even a tablet application, you're going to be presented with a very similar experience. So onboarding new employees, kind of working them through the process, adding in activities, creating new opportunities, or even looking at some intelligence cards or relationship assistance cards, highlighting things that I need to do becomes very, very easy to interact with.